In this video, we'll take up the homework sheet on compound interest. I didn't want to copy down the chart again, so I just wrote it on the sheet. So for example, if you have the annual interest rate, you can calculate the interest rate per compounding period as long as you know the frequency of compounding. And if you know the frequency of compounding, you know how many compounding periods there are in a 10-year loan. So for the second question, you're asked how much will he owe after 4 years. So we're looking at 8% compounded annually. So that's 4 compounding periods, because once a year for 4 years is 4 compounding periods. For number 3 is a great question. You're calculating the interest earned over 5 years on a principal of $10,000, 9% annually, but there's different compounding periods. So compounded annually, compounded semi-annually, monthly, bi-weekly, daily. So hopefully you see there's a pattern. As you increase the compounding frequency, so for example, from annually to semi-annually, you'll see that you earn more interest, which makes sense because you are getting the money in your account, or you can think of it in your hands, but it's not physically there. You're getting the money quicker, which means you're going to be able to compound that money earlier as opposed to later. Because if it's annually, you have to wait till the end of the year to get the money and then compound it. But if you can compound it on a monthly basis, it happens on a monthly basis. So hopefully you can make sense of this. If question 3 is challenging for you to understand, what you can do is just create a sample question. Just say $100, or let's say $1,000, and then compare it if you compound it monthly, daily, annually, semi, all those different compounding periods. And you'll see that the more frequent the compounding period, the greater the amount of interest earned. For question 4, you're just solving for the interest rate. So we're looking at about 9% per year. Just rearrange the formula and isolate for I. For question 5, you're just finding the amount after 8 years. This is compounded monthly. So that's why there's 96 compounding periods. For question 6, basically there's you're transferring the money after 3 years. So you have to do the equation, or use the formula, the future value formula, 2 times. For question 7, nothing special, just another future value calculation. For question 8, you have to be very careful because you're solving for t, which means I'm going to use logarithms, or you can use a guess and check technique. But you solve for t, you get 6.56. So you actually have to round it up to 7 years. Now, why do you have to round it up? Because you have to understand you're compounding annually for this example, which means you collect the interest at the end of every year. So you don't collect interest midway through the year. The bank's not going to do anything. So you have to wait to the end of the year, which means in order to reach this amount of 10,000, you have to take the full 7 years, because you're not getting interest midway through the year. It happens at the end of the year, so that's why the answer is 7 years as opposed to 6.56 years. For question 9, you're solving for the interest rate just like question 4, nothing special.